Just getting it connected, I think. Can't type today. Okay. All right, I think I'm live. Hello, good morning or afternoon, wherever you're at. I am super excited to share all of this good info with you today. Just making sure that I am in fact live. I believe I am. Make sure that you say hey in the comments or the chat if you're on the Zoom, and let me know where you're watching from. And if you're watching the replay, let me know you're watching the replay. All right, looks good. Looks like I am live. Cool. Okay. So freaking excited. It's Friday. I am feeling so much better today. I had kind of a crap week and I feel so much better today. So I'm so glad I'm able to connect with you guys today. So anyways, okay, so today, let's just go through what we're gonna talk about, and I'm gonna try to keep this to an hour or less, but I have so much good stuff to share with you, so I'm gonna try to stay on track. So let's see. We're gonna start with the top 3 online jobs, and then I am going to go through the case studies, and the 3 jobs that I'm going to be discussing today are nursing, being a server, and being a hairstylist. These were the top 3 jobs that you guys were talking about, whether you do them now, you've done them before, maybe you did them before having kids and now you're ready to re-enter the workforce, but you're not sure you want to go back into one of those career paths. And a lot of you are looking for a work from home opportunity. So I'm super excited because I'm going to talk about what some common traits are for those jobs and how you can use them in the online space. Then I'm going to go through the skills extraction workbook with you. We're going to review the 7-step framework for starting a virtual assistant business. And then we are going to do some Q&A. So make sure you stay to the end. If you can't, it's okay. Just make sure you've registered because I'll send you the replay, because at the towards the end, I'm going to give you a really awesome free offer. So I don't want you to miss that. So I am ready to get started. What I'm going to attempt to do is share from my screen. Let's see if it'll let me do it. I have had the craziest tech issues today, but what's new, right? It seems like it's the norm these days. Okay, here we go. And oops. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna try to connect to my iPad to do some live stuff with you guys in a few minutes, but I think I can do, no, I don't want to end. Again, if you're just jumping on, say hey, let me know where you're watching from, and let me know what you do for work now, or what you did in your last job if you're not working right now. Okay, you guys should be able to see my screen. And right now what I'm showing is the top 3 fastest growing online jobs. You may have seen this document before, but I wanted to go over it really quickly. So for the top 3 fastest growing online jobs, these are all jobs that are in high demand. You can do them as a freelancer. You can also do some of these for some companies as an employee, but I mostly talk about being a freelancer, but that doesn't mean the information won't pertain to you if you don't want to be a freelancer. But that's mainly what I talk about, because I really am here to empower other women to be able to take that control and work on their own terms, from home with their kids, on the road, you know, wherever it is that you are in your life. I want you to know that you have options and you don't have to be chained to a corporate job, to sitting at a desk working for somebody else on their terms. So, okay, so virtual assistant, the basic skills, basic admin skills, email and calendar management, graphic creation, putting together newsletters. These are like some really basic, like things that virtual assistants do. You probably already have the skills to do these, even if you don't realize it. We're going to talk about this more in a little bit during the skills extraction, but these are all very basic and very easy to learn. When I entered the online space as a virtual assistant and left behind nursing, this is what I did, virtual assisting. And I had no idea how, I didn't think anyways, I had any idea how to do any of this. I could barely use Facebook. I'm not a graphic designer. I'm not super artsy. I want to be, but I'm not. It doesn't come natural to me. And these are things that kept me living in fear at first. And once I just jumped in and started doing them, I realized how simple they are and how many resources I really had available to me. Like email management. Okay, we all have an email, right? So we know how to do it, even if we don't do it the best, keeping, things cleaned out. We know how to do it and we can figure it out super easy. General admin tasks are all things that you have most likely learned how to do in jobs you've done in your life. But even if you've never worked like a regular job, if you are an adult, a living and breathing adult, and you are running your own life, then you probably know how to do a lot of these things. If you're a mom, you definitely know how, because you're running the whole household. And when people discount being a mom or a stay-at-home mom, or I always laugh, because I like to remind you that there are people who hire house managers to run their home. So, and I mean, that sounds amazing, right? Like, but if you don't do that, you're the house manager, right? So you know how to do way more than you think, and it really easily and simply translates to the online space. So virtual assistants in the US, the hourly range generally is from about $15 an hour to $35 an hour. In some states where minimum wage is a lot lower, some people, will work for less because they're still making more than minimum wage. Like here in Hawaii, minimum wage is $7 and something cents. So, if someone's offering a $12 an hour job, or sometimes even a $10 an hour job, that's good for them, because it's more than they're going to make, working somewhere locally at minimum wage. Plus they get to work from home and don't have to deal with, expenses like commuting and childcare and, uniforms, like, those things you wear to work sometimes, uniforms. So you don't have to worry about all of that stuff. So, when you are deciding if you want to work virtually, there's a lot of different things to consider as far as expenses. Most virtual assistants that I know and train, and even me when I was a new virtual assistant, started about $20 an hour. And that's pretty in the US, that's pretty normal. So no matter what your career is now, it's really easy to, figure out, okay, what am I making now? Do I just need to replace that? Some people don't even need to replace it when they really look at things. They just want to work from home, or they need to, and they don't really need to replace their full income. Some do, and it's just easy, simple math, which always makes me laugh because math is my nemesis. But it really is simple math to, reverse calculate how much you need to make per hour and how many hours you need to work. But staying focused. The next job, social media manager. Oh, and also I wanted to say on virtual assisting, another thing they do a lot of is social media scheduling. Sometimes also, putting together the social media graphics and then scheduling them or posting them. But a social media manager is a whole job and can make really good money. Kind of the average in the US is $20 to $40 an hour, but there are definitely social media managers who make more, specifically because being a social media manager is a really easy way to do package pricing. So you're not really working hourly. You are charging a package rate, and it doesn't matter if it takes you 2 hours or 10 hours, you're making the same amount of money. So a lot of people really like starting out with social media management because most people are on social media and understand the basics. Like I said, when I started as a virtual assistant, I barely could use Facebook. So I didn't have much confidence with social media management, but I was able to easily learn it. And, it's something that is really nice and flexible because generally you are creating posts, scheduling them, sometimes doing social media engagement, but you can do that from your phone. You can do that from anywhere on your own time. So being a social media manager is a really nice option for really busy moms because, like I said, you can do a lot of it on your phone and make really good money doing it. So creating content, posting on social media. See, some social media managers, there's different levels, right? I guess, I don't know if levels is the right thing to say, but there's different levels. Like you can do very base, like social media management, or there are people who do a lot more, like social media strategy. And that you can make a lot more money. You also need more skills, but those are all things you can learn. And I know there's lots of courses that can teach you how to be like a full-on social media management and strategist. And I know a girl who offers this. So if you are looking to become a very, highly paid and sought out social media manager and social media strategist, let me know and I can get you her contact information. Yeah, social media management, awesome, and super fast growing online because everyone does social media marketing now, right? And if they don't, they need to be, because that's where people find businesses and services and offers. So super, super important. The next one I want to talk about is online business management. And there's like, I don't know, thousands and thousands of different jobs you can do online, but online business management is something that, one second. You guys saw my post earlier in the week, but I lost my voice and it's like already kind of starting to go. So I apologize. But online business management is something I started doing maybe a year after I started my online virtual assisting. But I transitioned to OBM, online business management, because as a nurse, I had a lot of upper management skills and a lot of project management, team management, and a lot of those higher level admin experiences. So this was something that came naturally to me and I started doing as a virtual assistant. I was, getting paid $20 an hour, but doing way more and I was really just naturally taking on the role as online business management and becoming really big parts of these businesses, but I wasn't getting paid for it. But I loved it. And I loved the strategy and I just loved it all. So I like to include that here because a lot of you are nurses or people who have maybe healthcare administrative backgrounds or degrees. So sometimes when you're doing stuff like that, it can feel like, really, I'm going to be an assistant, and I know I felt like that, but then it was still totally new. So it totally worked for me, but I quickly realized I wanted more. I wanted to be a bigger part of businesses. So I moved to online business management, and that's something that is very lucrative and you can make a lot of money doing that. And it's nice because generally you can work with less clients because you are making better money and you're a bigger part of business. So in the US, most OBMs make between $40 to $100 an hour. And obviously this is just a range, and it's a big range, but when you are a newer OBM, generally you'll start at the lower end, which is around usually $40 to $45 an hour. But as you gain experience, obviously increase your rates. So these are the top 3 hottest, fastest growing jobs online. Again, there are many, many other opportunities. I just wanted to share this with you because these are great jobs. So get back here. Okay, so the case study. So this is the part I'm really, really excited about today because what I find is a lot of women don't realize that they have so many skills. They just don't realize it. They think like, oh, I'm a nurse, I can never work online. That doesn't make sense. And I know because I was that person just a few years ago. Even though as a nurse, I worked in a lot of different roles, I still didn't believe that I could work online. Just, didn't have that belief that it was possible. So, I went back to work after having my son, and I was miserable and hated it, but I didn't believe that there were other opportunities out there. I think he was about 10 months old when I finally was able to leave my soul-sucking job and work from home. And when I first did it, I was working as a virtual assistant, and I was doing like telehealth type nursing, where I was working for a surgeon, and all of the nursing calls would be transferred to me at home, and I would talk to patients, give advice, send prescriptions, send orders, do all kinds of different things, but from home. So that for me, that was a safe transition because I had that. But even if you don't have something like that set up or don't want to do something like that, you can absolutely start working online right away and get out of your job. Or maybe you're already at home due to whatever, right? Kids home, health issues, whatever. You can start doing virtual assisting, or there's lots of other things too if you don't want to be a virtual assistant, which I'm going to talk about more a little bit later. But for now, case studies. So the first one I want to talk about is nursing. So what are some common traits of a nurse? Well, we can multitask, right? We think critically. We always figure it out. Those are some really, really great traits. That's one of my favorite ones right there, actually. Like, we always figure it out. We're very resourceful as nurses, or anyone in the medical industry. Maybe you're not a nurse, maybe you're a medical assistant or a CNA or a physician assistant or whatever. Anyone in the medical field tends to have these traits, and being resourceful is the number one trait that I attribute to my success in the online space. So as a virtual assistant, I always kept that can-do attitude. Like, I will figure it out. Even if I don't know how to do it now, I'm going to figure it out. Just like when you're a nurse, right? You have no other option. You have to figure it out. So I took that and moved it to the online space and became a great virtual assistant because I always figured it out. And, getting online, like, you literally have every resource at your fingertips. And it wasn't always easy for me as a new virtual assistant, or even as a seasoned virtual assistant. It's not always easy. It definitely takes effort, right? When you're doing something new. But the point is you can do it. So if you're a nurse and you are organized, you're resourceful, you're a critical thinker, you can absolutely become a virtual assistant or an OBM or whatever you want. When I was working as a virtual assistant, I decided I wanted to do web design. Okay. I have no experience. The closest thing to like coding I ever did was like MySpace, right? Like, remember MySpace pages, and we like coded like to make our MySpace page just perfect. And I always laugh when I think back to MySpace and like how much time I put into that, and how we used to rearrange our friends in order of like the top 8 or whatever. Like, who's on my shit list today? Or going to the end, or I'm taking you off my top 8. I don't remember if it was 8, but that sounds right. Anyways, I had no experience as a web designer or anything remotely close to that, and I decided I was going to learn it, and I did. I didn't pay any money to learn it. I just got in and started doing it, watching YouTube videos, and I figured it out. Experience. And some of my first websites were not that great, right? Like, definitely not like the $3,000 websites that a lot of my friends are making, but they were functional and they were there, and they've gotten a lot better ever since. So anyways, no matter where you're at now, you can absolutely work online. You have the skills. The next one I want to talk about is being a server, waitress, waiter, whatever you want to call it. There are a lot of people who work as servers or have worked as servers. Even if you did it in college or in high school or whatever. Things that you learn doing that job stay with you. When I was working as a nurse, there were things I learned from being a server, being a bartender, being a cocktail waitress, all those things that easily translated for me into nursing, right? Like that customer service side of things, keeping people happy, keeping a straight, brave face, even when you freaking want to lose your mind, or someone's driving you crazy. There's a lot of things you learn as a server. So customer service is huge, and in virtual assisting, customer service can be something that you focus on or just, also offer. But there are people who just offer customer service, whether it's, doing email support, chat support, phone calls. Different businesses have different needs. So whatever it is that you want to do, you can find a business who needs that. So for me, I never wanted to be tied down having to be available during certain hours. So I only offered email support. So I would answer customer service emails via email. So I could do it from anywhere and whenever worked for me. A lot of people like to do chat support, and they just, schedule it in like they would a job. They schedule it into their weekly schedule and know that they have to be at their computer answering chat support questions. Some people like to do phone calls. I know an amazing virtual assistant who works for medical offices, and she has all the calls transferred to her at her house, and that's what she likes to do. And it's awesome. Like businesses all over the world need these services. So whatever it is that you want to do or feel like you have the skills to do or can work into your schedule, you can find it. So, as a server, if you've ever done that job or you do it now, like trying to diffuse situations, give great customer service while also holding up, what's the word? Not rules. What's the word? Holding up policies, right? Following procedures, all of those things easily translate into the online space as a virtual assistant. So if you're a server and you think I have no skills, I can't work online, BS, you absolutely can. The next one is a hairstylist. I have a couple hairstylists in my course right now, actually. And again, as a hairstylist or any kind of beautician, esthetician, massage therapist, any of those things, maybe not massage therapist unless you're a chatter, but especially as a hairstylist, you are used to talking to people and keeping conversations going, avoiding certain things, redirecting people, and diffusing situations when people are not happy, really listening to people, because obviously you're doing something to change their appearance. So you're really listening to what they're saying to make sure that they actually know what they're saying, right? They actually know what they're asking for, or maybe what they are asking for isn't what they actually want, so you have skills. Like that's what I'm trying to show you, is that no matter what you've been doing, those are marketable skills that you can use to work in the online space. So again, whether you're a nurse, a server, a hairstylist, you work in retail, you're a barista, anything, you work in corporate, you have some big fancy degree, you have no degree, you didn't finish high school, it doesn't matter. Like whatever experiences you have, you can use to come into the online space. And just like I did, starting as a virtual assistant and doing web design, I was the type that I wanted to try everything. And then I figured out what I liked and didn't like. And so wherever you are right now, you can absolutely start working online and do the same thing. You can start figuring out what you like and don't like, and then pivot. Like that's the beauty of being a freelancer. Like you can do the jobs you want. If you don't like something, you don't have to do it again. It's really amazing. So let me know in the comments what your job is. I'm going to check the Facebook live chat and to see if anything's come through, because I can't see it here on Zoom. But let me know what you do, and also let me know if you have certain skills that you are curious how you could use them in the online space. Yeah, hairstylists. Yeah, Candy. Hairstylists are really good at that. It's amazing. Of course, I'm not going to say I couldn't do it, but I don't think, like, I could if I had to, right? But that's just not me. Like, that's not my personality. But it's incredible. Like, I don't know how they do it. I know because my hair, like, you can see I have a ton of hair. So when I go to the hair to get my hair done, it's hours to get anything done. And I've never had it be like weird, like where I'm just like sitting there, like awkward silence or weird conversation. Even if it's someone brand new, like they're so good at keeping you talking and entertained and like not weird. And it just like amazes me. All right. So what I'm going to attempt to do now, and please drop any questions you have in the comments or chat, because I will be answering questions in a little bit. But right now I want to walk you through the skills extraction workbook. So I'm hoping that it will let me share. So give me just a second. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Let's see. Where are you? Screen mirroring. Goodness. Oh, here we go. I just want to be able to write and let you see it. So give me just a second as I'm trying to get this connected. I'm gonna grab a sip of my drink. Today would be great. Come on. Technology is great, right? Connecting iPads to MacBooks is like the coolest thing until it doesn't want to do it when you're waiting for it to do it. Well, I don't know if you guys can see it yet. Maybe you can. I don't think so. Might have to figure out a different way to do this. By the way, while I'm waiting for this to do it, one of my favorite jobs to do is supporting business owners when they're doing like live presentations, webinars, trainings, whatever. Why is it unable? I don't think it's gonna work. Dang it. Because it's super fun to like, even though you have to do it like live, you have to be available at a certain time. I would still do it for clients when I worked as a virtual assistant because it was so fun, like to be like in the moment and like trying to get things set up, you know. Anyways, I miss having help during these things, but I always like doing it. So I just want to throw that in there because that's a really fun job. Doing that, you know, live webinar or live training and support. Okay, well, this doesn't seem like it wants to, nope, unable to connect, of course. Okay, so what I was gonna do is go through this on my iPad and write on it as I was talking to you so I could show you, but it's not gonna let me. So I could either, no, it's gonna be stupid. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'll put up on my computer. I just won't be able to write on it, so it won't look as cool, but whatever. We do what we do, right? We do what we can. Okay, so you should be able to see my screen. If you registered in advance for this class, you would have gotten access to, oops, too fast, too furious. You would have got access to the skills extraction workbook. If you didn't, let me know in the comments and I will make sure you get it. But if you did register, then check your email and you should have an email with a link to it if you didn't download it right away. So, okay, so page 1, skills extraction. So if you've looked at this already and done it, awesome. you can just listen through and see if it brings up anything else. I highly encourage you to go through this, even if it feels silly. And if you want to share it in the Corporate Reject Connection group, that would be amazing, because I would love to see what you come up with and help you out. So if you have questions, or you're just like, okay, I did this, I still don't know what the heck kind of skills I have, what kind of jobs I could do, then share it with me and let's talk about it. So, okay. So the first question is, list 3 things that make you stand out from your colleagues or coworkers. So if you're a nurse, think about any accomplishments you've had. And this is a place for you to brag, right? Like, this is for you. So don't be all humble about it. Like, oh, I'm not any better than anyone else. I can tell you 100%, I could easily think of things that made me, better at my job than a lot of other colleagues in the past. And I don't say that to be full of myself. It's just the truth, right? I also managed a lot of people, hired and fired a lot of people. So I'm used to looking at it in that way, right? So anyway, so 3 things that make you stand out from your colleagues or coworkers. So maybe if you are a floor nurse, say you work in a nursing home, maybe you are the only one who can really connect with a certain resident, or, you're the only one that they'll allow to do a certain procedure because you have really good bedside manner, or you're really gentle and kind, or, you just have a way of intuitively knowing how to approach them and how to make them feel comfortable. I mean, there's so many different things. Maybe you are known for giving the most painless shots, right? That was something back when I was a medical assistant, people always said your shots don't hurt. Why do other people's shots hurt? Right? So when I was working as a medical assistant, when I was working as a nurse in a doctor's office, those are things I heard a lot of, your shots don't hurt. So whatever it is, whatever that skill is, or, it could be a physical thing, it could be a psychological thing, there's all these different things, right? Whatever it is, doesn't really matter right now. I just want you to put it down. I want you to write it down. So think of things you've been complimented on in your work. Or think about if you got a promotion or something like that, why you got the promotion over somebody else. So think about those things. So if you're a server, think the same thing. You're gonna think about, okay, why do I stand out? Well, maybe you help bus other people's tables, right? You don't just focus on only yours. If you're walking by, you're gonna grab it because you are a team player, and you're there, so you might as well grab it and drop it off, on your way walking by. And there might be other people who don't do that. They don't help other people. They just focus on their customers only and ignore everything else. That was something. So I've been a server before, and that was something that always drove me nuts. When people would, not be as helpful as I was. And so that was a great character trait I had. I was always helpful. If I was walking by, I was freaking grabbing something off a table that needed to go. It didn't matter if it wasn't my table. And so, there's different things like that. If you are a hairstylist, what's something that makes you stand out from your colleagues and coworkers? Maybe you will tell someone if it's not a good idea to turn their hair hot pink. I don't know, right? Whatever it is. I had a hairstylist in the past, and I missed her so much. And there were times where I wanted something, and she would be like, I don't think that is a good idea for your hair. It's not healthy for your hair, or that's not something I'm comfortable doing. So, she would straight up tell me if it wasn't a good idea. And I appreciate that so much. Of course, there's some people who would just get pissed and go to someone else, and that's totally fine. But she actually cared. So that was something that was really important to me. So whatever it is that your job is, this one, if you are a barista, right? If you make coffee, maybe you can make really cool designs on the top of a latte. I know when I was a barista, I had so much fun doing that, trying to make different designs. And, I don't remember all the designs I made, but I remember making hearts and like leaves or something. But anyways, like that's something that extra little touch could make somebody's day so much brighter. It only took me a couple extra seconds, but it totally, could change their day and make them feel extra special. And other people might not do that or care or have a desire to do that. So whatever it is, this is a place for you to brag. So list 3 things that make you stand out from your colleagues and coworkers. Part 2 is list 3 specific skills that you discovered that make you successful in what you do. So again, maybe you are a great listener. Maybe you are a critical thinker. Maybe you, are known for giving really great advice. Maybe you're known for shutting up and listening. That's one that I have to work on. You leave that open. Hey, husbands don't listen. He's leaving and I want to be able to hear my child and he shuts the door. Makes no sense. But anyways, so 3 skills that make you successful. Think about those and list them out. And like I said, like this is not a place to hold back. Don't feel like you're bragging because, well, you are bragging, but this is just for you. And maybe me, if, we're going to go through this together to help, so we can figure out what it is that you want to do. And then number 3, list 2 things that you do in your job that make you the happiest and are things you would never delegate because you do them best. This is a fun thing because it really makes you think about what those things are that you absolutely love. And that might give you some really good guidance on what a first online job might be. Hang on a second. Hey, babe, can you leave that door open so I can hear him? Yeah. Okay, thanks. Both of them. The bedroom door. Yeah. So things that make me the happiest. So when I think back to nursing, I absolutely miss, going into a patient's room and greeting them and hearing about how they're actually feeling, asking about their day or how something's going and genuinely listening and connecting with them in that way. This is why we have the door shut. So that's something I miss. I really do. And then when I worked in a medical office, I miss walking into that room and connecting with the patient and, feeling their energy and seeing, figuring out where they're at and how I can best help them to try to make their day better. I miss that. I really do. There's lots of things I don't miss about nursing, but that's one thing I really miss is that connection. And then teaching. I miss teaching them how to do whatever, right? How to take care of their wound, how to check their own blood sugar, how to give themselves an insulin shot, how to monitor their surgical incision, whatever it is, I miss that. But I've been able to find that in the online space, which is why now I spend a lot more of my time teaching because I love teaching. I'm not a teacher, I didn't go to school to be a teacher, but I love teaching. I just always did it in a medical way. And now I do it in an online way. So think about the things that make you happy and that you wouldn't delegate them because you do them best and you love them. All right. Next, write down 2 to 3 stories that were turning points in your life. What experiences, rough times, epiphanies led you to be the success you are today? So again, this is you, not comparing yourself to anybody else, not thinking oh, I'm not a success because I haven't done, all these things that, you thought you needed to do, your parents told you needed to do, or what society expected of you, whatever. It's a place for you to think about these different places in your life that you have been successful. So write down those stories. I know it can feel silly, but there's a purpose for this. Method to my madness. And then number 5, review the common freelance positions list and write down the jobs that sound interesting to you. Put a star by the ones you feel qualified doing now or with minor training, and then add any tasks or services that you would like to do that aren't listed. So this is a fun one. And if you go down here to the next page, you'll see some of the common tasks and projects, jobs that are regularly outsourced to freelancers. So there's the general administrative support, social media management, copywriting, content management, video services, graphic design, web design, podcast services, accounting. These are all things that are very commonly outsourced. So again, no matter what your background looks like, what your interests are, there are options for you. And this is just a short list, right? Like this is just a few. But these are all things that I learned how to do on my own, minus the accounting stuff. I mean, I can do the basic bookkeeping. I do my own taxes. I can do that type of thing. I know how to invoice. I know how to do payroll. So I do know how to do these things. I'm not an expert bookkeeper, but I've been able to do basic stuff. So everything on here are things that I was able to learn how to do. So left nursing, started doing all of this stuff and making money doing it. So again, there are options out there. So this is that list. So coming back here, review that list, write down the jobs that sound interesting to you. And then I want you to go through and put a star by the ones that you feel like you're qualified to do now, or, you just need maybe a little bit of training and you'll be good to go, because that's going to be really helpful. And then I want to, if you're open to sharing this with me, I'd love to see it, because I want to be able to help you make those connections. Okay. Let's move this around again. And then the last piece of the skills extraction workbook, review the items that you starred on the previous page, write them here, group them if they're similar. So if you wrote down, a bunch of these and you put stars by them because you felt like, oh, I can do that, group them here, right? If you have things kind of throughout, just write them here, and we can, you can definitely put together service packages or a la carte. So this right here, just by doing this simple task, is going to help you see what you might want to start offering as a freelancer, and start making the packages. Like just from this simple little workbook, like you can actually come up with like, okay, these are jobs I can start, doing right now. So after that, once you have your packages done, all you have to do is price them and market them. So you have, like, the hardest part is figuring out what you're going to offer. And you just did it. By going through this workbook, you did it. So anyways, I am super excited to see what you come up with. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. Take another sip of my drink because my voice is really starting to go now. Okay, the 7-step framework I want to share with you really quickly. Again, I'm going to do it on here since the whole iPad connection wouldn't work. Oh. Okay, so this is the 7-step framework that I put together to be able to ditch your job and make money from home. So the first thing you're going to want to do is set up your business. And this can feel overwhelming. I promise it's not. As a freelancer, it's not that crazy. It's very simple to get going. You don't have to do anything super crazy. Skills and offers. You're going to figure out what services that you're going to offer to start with and create your packages. And if you just did the skills extraction workbook, you've already done it, right? You have your packet, you at least have the base of your packages figured out, and you just need to price them. You need to learn how to craft a pitch, how to sell your packages, your services without being salesy, right? As women, I've found that generally, talking about sales is just something that's super uncomfortable. I know it is for me. And there's a whole mindset around it. And I've spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars and many, many hours working on how to get comfortable with selling without feeling like a salesperson, without feeling gross about it. So that's something that's super important. Learning how to talk to people about what you offer and actually making the offer to them. Getting clients, so finding and landing your ideal clients. Obviously, if you're going to have a profitable service-based business, you need clients. how to maintain them, how to keep them happy, raise your rates, and create solid boundaries. One of my biggest issues when I was a virtual assistant was boundaries, because I think it comes from, you know, history of being a people pleaser, and then obviously being a nurse and just wanting to do everything to help people, right? That I didn't have the best boundaries, and that ended up really hurting me. And I got taken advantage of, I got underpaid, and I got really frustrated. And that's something that can lead to burnout, just like with any job, right? So creating solid boundaries is super, super important. And templates are super important, because when you are a service-based business, you can't, you know, to save time and be able to make more money, you need to have templates. You need to have access to resources, how-to videos, examples, support, right? Support is the next part. Having a community of people who can support you, help you through different things. So these are the 7 steps to set up a successful freelance business and be profitable and happy and successful. So one more sip. So I'm going to stop this. If you are in my Corporate Reject Connection Facebook group, that is a great place to be, because you are surrounded by hundreds of other women who are in the same place as you, or have been in the same place as you, or are about to join the place you're at, where you are either trying to decide, okay, can I really make this work? Can I really work from home? Or they started working from home, or they're starting their businesses, or maybe they already are freelancing or running some sort of online business. So having that community support is super important to be able to thrive and enjoy working online, because it can be really lonely. I know when I was a new virtual assistant, it was super lonely. And so I had to make business friends. I had to survive because nobody else understands, right? And even though I've been doing this for years now, like nobody who isn't in the online space, nobody understands. If you're not a virtual service provider, they just don't get it. And it's fine, like, right? Like, just like if you're not a nurse, like if you're a nurse, no one else understands being a nurse except another nurse, right? So just like hairstylist, right? Like any job, right? If you haven't done it, you can't truly understand. So what I want to offer you today is a free 20-minute clarity call with me, because I want to make sure that you have the support and resources that you need to make an informed decision. So working virtually is not for everybody. And I don't want you to be stuck in fear and not follow your calling, follow your dreams, whatever you want to call it, because of fear and not enough information. But I also don't want you to jump into something that isn't for you. So this free 20-minute clarity call is all about you, all about talking about where you're at, where you've been, where you want to go. And I will give you best advice I can, resources to help you move forward. And if you don't want to be an online service provider, but you want to make money from home, there's tons of different options. And I am happy to share from my knowledge what might be a good opportunity for you. So highly encourage you to grab one of these free 20-minute clarity calls with me, and bring your skills extraction workbook. Even if you are like, I don't think I want to be a virtual assistant or any kind of online service provider, that's okay. Bring it anyways, and let's review it, because there might be some information on there that's super helpful. So I'm going to drop the link so you can book your free call. Super casual, no expectations. I just want to help you make the best decision for you. I love doing these calls because I love talking to people and learning about them and their needs and desires. And sorry, I'm just trying to, this is not letting me, I don't understand. Sometimes Zoom does not want to let me put in, paste in links, and I don't understand why anymore. But okay, I'm going to drop it in the Facebook chat. So yeah, type any questions. I'm going to do Q&A in just a minute. So type any questions that you have. And hey, I've done pretty good. Trying to keep it at about an hour. Pretty impressed with myself, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, Candy. Oh my gosh, tech support during online events. It's amazing. So just to, man, I'm putting that, oops, just putting that link in. My multitasking is not working today. All right, I just dropped that in the chat. Yeah, so the tech support during live events, webinars is amazing, Candy. So I started doing it for a client I had that did, she helped nurses and nurse practitioners with their resumes and to find their dream nursing careers, which was, I loved working with her because it was super fun. And obviously I had a big interest in that. My husband actually still works with her and does her podcast editing. Yeah, so when she would do webinars, I would be on as well. And I would I would take all the questions and I would, we use Apple devices. So I would text them to her. And so she'd have her iPad open over here and she'd be able to see the questions coming through right there. So I would go through and obviously if there were duplicates, it's hard when you're trying to do a webinar and like read through all these questions. So I would just send the best questions. And obviously if they're duplicates, I wouldn't send those. So she would just have a list of questions. If anyone purchased her course during her webinar, because she would do webinars to sell a course, I would be able to send her a message, say, so-and-so just joined, and she would be able to like welcome and congratulate them live, so that's always fun. Like, oh, hey, Candy, like, so excited that you joined, that kind of thing. So it was really fun. And then if there was anything going on in the chat, I could answer questions and, keep the chat stuff going. If anyone was having any technical issues on their end, I could give them advice like, try this, try that, log out, log back in, So it was really cool. And that's something that's really common for virtual assistants to be able to do. So it was really, really fun. Okay, I was just checking from the Facebook Live if there's any other questions on there. Let's see here. So a question that came through was, I don't have a lot of time. Can I really make money online? Yes. So when I first started as a virtual assistant, I had an infant. I was working my telehealth job. So I was working, I think like 36 hours a week doing that. So like maybe I was off Mondays, Tuesday through Friday. I can't remember, but I was working 4 days a week, usually 9 to 10 hour shifts. And I was working from home and, so I'd be in my office working, but I was working, full time. So I was able to fit in freelance jobs in between things, right? So sometimes I get up early in the morning, but I'm not a morning person. So usually I stayed up late because I'm a night person. So whatever works for your schedule, right? Sometimes on my lunch break, if I really need to get something done, I would do it. But usually it was, evenings after I put my son to sleep that I would go in and work on my virtual assisting, which was one of the reasons being a freelancer is so awesome. You can work on your own time and your own schedule. So there's lots of different online jobs and there's more and more remote jobs than ever now. So, there's some companies who do want you to be available during certain hours. And some people really like that because they can have a set schedule, just like if they had a regular job, but they can do it from home. So if they're home and, their kids are doing remote learning, homeschooling, whatever you want to call that. I know there's a lot of different options, right? Homeschooling, wild schooling, remote learning that's not really homeschooling, but doing it from home. I mean, there's so many different things going on now, right? So if you know that your kids are doing their schoolwork from 9 to 1 every day, well, then you're available 9 to 1 every day. You can, do your work then. Or if you're, this is a question I get a lot, if you're only a one computer family and your kids need it for school, well, then you're not going to be available during their school hours. So you just have to schedule in your time at a different time. Maybe it's in the afternoon when they're outside playing after school, or you're doing, some then, some at night after they go to bed. Or maybe you're still working a job and you're like, I don't have time. Like, I get it because I've been there, but you do have time. And I say this all the time, but everyone has 168 hours in the week, every person, same hours. So it's really how you use them. So if you really want to make working from home work for you and you want to build up a good freelance business, you might need to cut something else out that isn't moving you towards your goals, right? So maybe you're not going to spend 2 hours a night watching TV for the first few months. You're going to be working on your business. You're going to be working on on your freelance jobs. That's the decision you have to make. If you're not ready to do that, if you're not ready to make time and space for your freelance career, then maybe you're not ready to be a freelancer. And that's okay. It's not, like I said, it's not for everybody. But for those who are ready to take that control and have, control over their life, their time, their income, their whereabouts, like where you want to be. Before we moved to Hawaii, we lived in Oregon, and there were lots of times that I was traveling and no one ever knew because I was still getting all my work done. No one knew that I was visiting Hawaii or, in a different part of my state, or, wherever, like in Florida, like I went lots of places, and it didn't matter because as long as I had my computer and internet, I was getting my work done. So it really does open you up to a lot more freedom. And I know we talked about earlier social media management and how that's a really great one because you really have a lot of freedom to work when and where you want. So if you're someone who doesn't have the time to be sitting at your computer for long periods of time, and there's lots of different reasons, right? Kids, I have one, and I mean, it's crazy. And, even now, like only like things scheduled we have is soccer, but like Tuesdays we go to soccer, and I have other meetings and an exercise class and stuff. So Tuesdays are just like crazy. So I'm working literally in those stolen moments between things. And for a lot of people, that's their everyday life. Like they just don't have big chunks of time. And I just want to let you know, like there are options for you, especially if you are someone who needs to work from your phone a lot. Like doing social media engagement is super important to businesses and something you can do from your phone. Sometimes you have to, right? If you're doing Instagram, like you need to be on the app doing stuff. So if you are, sitting in your car between different things, or you're sitting in different practices, you can be working. So whatever your lifestyle is, you can figure out a way to make it work. If you're always having to go to doctor's appointments or take a kid or a family member, a parent, you feel like you're always at doctor's offices just sitting there waiting, right? That's a perfect time to be working. I can't tell you how many times I have had to take my laptop with me somewhere and connect to the hotspot on my phone for internet access. And I've worked from, parking lots, benches, waiting rooms, like you just do what you have to do, right? So anyways, I really encourage you to grab your free clarity call with me so I can give you my best resources and advice. What if I don't want to freelance, but I want to work from home? Okay, so yeah, there's tons of remote jobs. So if you want to work from home, but you want just something that's more like solid, like job, but from home, there's so many remote jobs available, more than ever now. And a lot of companies are really moving to this model, and you can go on lots of different sites and find them. So whatever job site you like to use, so on Indeed, in the location, you can put remote, or you can try work at home, try different things like that. LinkedIn, I'm doing, I think it's next week. If you look in the events section in my group, I'm doing and I'll put a link to the event in the chat, but I'm doing a how to search for jobs using LinkedIn. And that works for remote jobs, freelance jobs, any job really. But I'm going to show you how to use LinkedIn to do that. There's lots of jobs, you can find on social media. Check the social media sites for different companies that you like. And check their websites too. So bigger companies a lot of times will have, and some small companies too, but definitely bigger companies will have their job, like under career or job openings on their websites, and you can search. I shared not too long ago in my group a whole bunch of different resources for finding remote work for bigger companies. So if that's something that you're interested in, there's definitely options. So in my Facebook group, the Corporate Reject Connection, in the search bar, do hashtag JobOpp, JOBOPP, and you'll see anything I've posted in that group. So yes, there are options for everybody. Again, if you're just like feeling like, oh my gosh, like where do I don't know what to do. I want this, but I don't know. And book a clarity call with me. Again, it's free, and I'm just going to listen and give you my best resources and advice for where you're at and where you want to go. So, all right, I have kept this to about an hour. I'm super proud of myself. I think I shared with you everything. I put the link for the clarity call in the chat, and I'm going to add the link to that free event for using LinkedIn to search for jobs. Also, my Ask Me Anything Live is next week. I think it's Monday. I'll link that event here as well. So if you come up with questions, I can answer those during the Ask Me Live. So you can come live and ask questions, or you can message them to me, put them in the question section, or in the chat section, comment section, post section, post section of that event. You can also just put questions under this one as well, and I will be going through. Make sure you tag me to make sure I see them. And so yes, if anything comes up in the meantime, I have that coming up Monday to answer more questions. And I thank you so much for being here today. Make sure you grab your clarity call spot. I'm going to be opening up some extra slots next week because the following week we're going to be off island. So I won't know how my internet access is going to be while I'm traveling, but so I want to make sure I can get as many in next week as possible. So, all right, thank you. Have an amazing day, and drop any questions. If you're watching the replay, drop questions, and I will make sure to take care of those. All right, have a great day. Bye.